track is not a downhill. The track is very slippery offline, and if it rains, the covered track will remain dry. A real test for wet tires. Keep your eyes peeled for famous faces around the planet this weekend. The nearby Cannes Film Festival used to be held just before the Grand Prix, and many of Hollywood's best employees can't resist heading over to enjoy the race. Despite being a notoriously tricky track for overtaking, this race has been won when there was 4 seats on the grid. Olivier Panis took victory in the extraordinary 1996 race, in which just 4 drivers finished. Many drivers call Monaco their home, but legend in the making, Charles Leclerc is at his own Friday gate, so I'm sure he's going to want to put on a good show today on unpleasant soil.
Well, after a unique event that was Spain, we are getting ourselves ready for round 7 of the RPL Championship, and it is going to be an extremely small session. Only 14 drivers, just barely enough to make the run happen. And who knows where everyone else is. But yeah, we are here for RPL F1 Season 9, Round 7 in Monaco. So, Ironwolf on commentary for this race. My partner, Ryan Alcon, is currently away right now, so...
No, I'm back.
I
should have said something.
Scyther. Slow monkey. Akon, how goes it?
It is good. I am glad to have Monaco back, and but it has been a while for me. So it's a little for anybody. That means more chance at points, more chance at surviving. A lot can happen. More chance at potentially a less chaotic start, we'll say. So this should be tons of fun, and qualifying is crucial, as you know. Last season, I know we don't see any, full qualifying session here. We see a short qualifying session. Last season, Sam Steed was trying to get through. All he had to do was beat one driver. He ended up crashing because that driver in front of him was around. All he had to do was beat him, and it cost him getting into Q2, and he didn't even survive 3 laps in the race. That is how beneficial qualifying is around here, and that will probably be the highlight of today so far.
Alright, so let's go over some of the highlights from yesterday's event. So Scyther wound up winning in Spain by over 15 seconds over TB, and Darius wound up finishing 3rd. Unfortunately, TB's teammate Reese had to settle for 9th place. In the Drivers' Championship, Scyther continues his lead with. We have some new changes, and for 2nd, 3rd, and stuff. TB is back in 3rd with 78. Darius is sitting 3rd. Wait, I said TB is 3rd. Why? I said TB 2nd with 78. Darius 3rd with 72. And Reese is sitting in 4th with 69. Giggity. And then for the constructors, Red Bull does continue to lead, but it is down to 17 points, 183 to 166 with Ferrari. And Aston Martin continues to stay in 3rd with 73 over Mercedes with 60, I'm sorry. Last season, Here's what's interesting with Monaco last season. Where is it? I had it here. Ah, here it is. Well, Scyther, who actually did show up and is in the Ferrari, he is the defending race winner. He wound up winning last season in Season 8, beating TB, who was in the Ferrari. Kind of interesting to see how their roles have switched, but unfortunately, but yeah, this will be interesting to say the least. And was taken by W. Caspers.
Yeah, most definitely with Scyther leading the championship, it should be fun to see if he can hang on to it. He's a little late to the session, so his practice may be a little limited. As you see, Sam Steed is out of the session. That's that turn 3-4 area. The thing I was going to mention is, believe it or not, the session, which doesn't matter if he's a very talented driver. This is so. If you are a Scyther,
Indeed, and like I said, so we're in a short qualifying session because of the limited amount of people. We have currently 15. Crispy as his teammate. Reese Red Bull hunted on loan to Haas, Jack in AlphaTauri, Zakaria in Alpine, Sam Steed in the Haas, he's DNF'd. Scyther Darius in Ferrari, Owen in AlphaTauri, Tadpole Alpine. I already mentioned Crispy. Yes, Gerard filling out in the other Alfa Romeo. So, the 5 cars that are missing, we have no Aston Martin, no Williams, and no second McLaren. So, with Aston Martin out of it, this pretty much opens up a golden opportunity for Mercedes to take third back in the Constructors' Championship. Now, there was going to be a third, the third person for Mercedes Academy in the Aston Martin, that being Beatnik. Unfortunately, at the absolute last second, Beatnik was unavailable to race.
yeah, you mentioned Aston Martin Mercedes. What I'm also looking at, you said there's no second McLaren. Well, how does that shape with Alpine? Alpine have Tadpole and Zakaria here today, and Alpine are 8 points back from McLaren, and in front of McLaren. Third, but also for fifth as well. And I think you mentioned the Ferrari. That gap got close last week with Scyther's win and the Ferrari 1-2, I believe, or 1-3. I think it was either 1-2, 1-3. But regardless, that gap is coming down. And unlike the other tiers, such as Tier 2, and like we saw in previous seasons, or like we didn't see in previous seasons, we have a genuine constructors fight at the start of the season. The question becomes, how long is it going to last? Is this genuine throughout the rest of the season, or is it just temporary? We'll find out as Lewis Piper sets in a really good time with a 9.6 at the top of the board.
Absolutely, and Lewis Piper top of the board for these guys, 9.6. He's 2/10 ahead of Blonde, who's sitting in second. TB, by the way, just taking it nice and easy. He's got a point, 0.8 as well. Sitting third fastest, and looks like Reese has called it. He's currently fourth fastest. It's 3 drivers have yet to come out, that being Darius, Owen, and Crispy.
And another thing I was going to say about Slyther's victory in I was just checking the audio. Sorry about that. The other thing I was going to say about Slyther's victory in Spain last week was the last time a gap for a race victory, excluding post-race penalties, was over 15 seconds, was 2 seasons ago in Baku. So that's how impressive that win was. Regardless, I'm interested to see what he can do in this qualifying session because he's only 5th, and he is currently going purple in that second sector. So coming to Rascas, final corner, out of the final corner, you know, a track where you might want to take it easy. Your championship leader is definitely not taking it easy in this lap because he's improved 3/10, but it only keeps him 5th. Interesting.
It's the tight feeling of Monaco. Tight corners, tight straights. Everything is just tight and narrow. So it's possible that maybe the setups that the Ferraris are using is not helping them in the beneficial departments. And like I said, Scyther only sitting in the 5th place spot. I mean, with Monaco, position is everything. If you start higher up in the field, the less cars you have to pass to get to the front.
Not only is that a big factor, but another big factor is if there are no safety cars to this race. Remember, it's a 39-lap race. One of the the longest amount when it comes to laps ran during the season. The thing I would question, not only as a driver, race engineer, or a team, but as a commentator, is the fact that if I have no safety car happen in this race and I get stuck behind traffic or I pit at a really bad time, then it becomes a worry for me. It becomes a worry. There is no safety car, and I'm stuck behind another driver who it takes me a little bit to overtake, then it will become a worry, especially if second place, who was, let's say, less than 3 seconds behind me, then overtakes me because I was stuck behind traffic. So that is how crucial a track like Monaco is when it comes to whether it be overtaking, whether it become traffic, anything, traffic in qualifying, traffic in the race. You might not be in the same strategy as others, but you might get stuck behind them, and it will become big, as we did see Hunted retire from the session after crashing at the same corner that Sam Steed did.
Yeah, not only did Hunted crash out in that corner of Mirabeau, I just also saw TB get very close to it, but I'm actually on board with TB right now. He's gone purple in Sector 2. He's looking to improve. 9.837 was his prior time. Comes across, and he's switched with blonde. He's second right now, 778.
The difference with this compared to our usual full quality session is the fact that, you know, you see drivers coming back out immediately. Drivers coming back out right away. And they're saying, we're not going to do 1 or 2 runs. We're going to do more than 1 or 2 runs. And this is obviously the difference in RPL with full qualifying and short qualifying. It's obviously unfortunate that we could not get more than 15 drivers today for Tier 1, because I think it actually would have been really great to see who would have been out. Like last season, like I mentioned with Sam Steed, and even just the fight for pole like last season. You know, and it happens every season at Monaco. The fight for pole, the fight to get out of qualifying sessions, it is just amazing to see, because it is so crucial, and it's more crucial than anywhere. There are tracks like Singapore, Hungary, and a couple other places where it is crucial to start well, but this is like no other. And you know what? This is the real test for these drivers. As you see, Fake TB, I can't tell if he's on a second lap or an in lap. I think it's an in lap. It is, but regardless, it's the big test for drivers. You know, don't go in AI, because if you go in AI, how can you trust the AI with a track so tight like this to where your AI could crash? Not only that, but you know, you got to make sure that you are focused 110% of the time. You can be focused 100% of the time, but if you're just missing that extra boundary with focus, then you should be a little worried in that sense, because I would rather not have any issues in qualifying, just because if I do, then it sets me on the back foot for the race, or maybe makes me a little bit worried there, as you see Blonde improve, I think, 34 thousandths. Just a little.
Indeed. So we have DeCillo did come across the line a little bit ago. He's 6th fastest right now with a 10.6. Just about a minute 45 to go, and I think DeCillo doing. And the crazy part is that I will admit this event completely blind. Reason for it is because both of them, well, in Darius's case, he is using he's using a changed up setup that he used from Imola, and who knows what Scyther is using, because he's just gone with a random setup, because Scyther was pretty much preoccupied with IndyCar. He got preoccupied with watching IndyCar that he had to get a rush setup, and he had little to no practice. So the Ferraris are going in this blind.
Wow, I'm amazed by that. We should go on board with Scyther right here, because a 10th up right now, this could potentially be pole. That's why this is so important. Now with 40-some seconds remaining, with these drivers that you're watching, they need to cross the line quite soon here, and Scyther just barely hits the wall. I'm going to tell you right now, as he's 4/10 up, if you're not nicking the wall here just like he did twice now, then you're not doing something right, because you know what? Qualifying's a good time to have it happen rather than the race. He is pushing his limits, pushing the boundaries, coming out of the final corner. He's going to cross the line and go pole!
And pretty much declaring himself multiple times. And he's got himself pulled by over 2/10 over Lewis Piper.
He improved 6/10
Lewis
in the lap.
Piper's not showing signs of improvement right now.
Oh my god. 6/10. That's how much he found right there. Unbelievable. Unbelievable lap.
That's just wild. Well, next up to cross the line is going to be Wiseau in the Haas. Let's see what he's got in that Haas car. He improved just a tiny bit, but stays 7th fastest. Tadpole has to settle for 12th. The Chiller is sitting in the 6th position as more cars coming across, and looks like Blonde has reoccupied 2nd. Hundredths of a second.
Grandpa invalidated in front of TV, by the way.
Well, Gerard invalidated. That's unfortunate for him, but here he comes, and he's still 4th. So Scyther takes pole, and the Red Bulls are sitting 4th and 5th.
Yeah, absolutely.
Lewis Piper, by the way, Lewis Piper and Blonde stealing the show on the top 3 for qualifying.
Yeah, with Red Bull leading the Constructors' Championship, that's probably the last thing they needed. However, they are ahead of the 2nd Red Bull of the Chiller. So, you know what? There's some hope at the end of the tunnel. What a lap, though, by Scyther. I mean, it's only by 41 thousandths. He's wondering how he got pole. I'm wondering how he got pole after he hit the wall twice. That was incredible. You are on the edge, and I think anyone can agree how I put it. If you are not hitting the walls of Monaco, just nicking them, not slamming them, just nicking it, just by the edge of your rear or by the edge of the front, then you are doing something wrong. And he did it perfectly. He wouldn't have had any damage, I don't think, there, because that's how little he tapped the wall.
And speaking of doing stuff wrong, I just took a look at the F1 driver chat. Also, the reason the Chiller's lap was that low, apparently when he went out, laps of fuel.
So, Scyther, Blonde, Lewis Piper, Fake, Reese, all started in front of him. That's the top 5. And good shouting from Wolfso, by the way. I need to give him credit because, you know what? Although Blonde and Lewis Piper stole this show, big points on offer for Haas today, who have ultimately nothing in the Constructors. So perfect chance for them to score some points with Wolfso. And maybe they can double score points with Sam Steed. They've only finished a race with both cars once this season. That was Miami.
And they've yet to score points going into this event, so anything is possible. Now, Sam Steed, he's racing just because he basically, I mean, I had no other people. I mean, literally at one point in the attendance and lineups, I had just Scyther and the Chiller going. That was it.
Wow.
Nobody else was going.
Oh my god.
No,
Yeah.
Florian's out on holiday. Musty is out for something. Jack's no longer on loan, and yeah, nah, I still had that one. I still have one spot. Oh yeah, and Stenner's out doing stuff too.
Well, chat, now it's time to get your predictions in chat before we do get underway. There's 4 of you watching. Tell us who you think will be the podium for today with a crazy race ahead of us at Monaco. If that lineup was that close, especially with limited practice from together, and we're in for a good treat. I'll tell you that right now.
Well, let me take a look at the race director. Let's take a look at our tires by the looks of it for everybody. Let's see. I'm seeing Owen, Tadpole, Jack, Hunted, the Chiller, and TB on the hard tires. Crispy's going whack, and he's going on the soft tires, and everyone else is on the mediums. So let's get a review of our grid here. So Crispy's going to be starting at the back of the field in 15th. Row 7 is going to be Owen and Sam Steed. Row 6, Tadpole and Jack.
Oh, here we go.
Here we go. 5 lights come on to start the Monaco Grand Prix. That's lights out, and away we go. Good reaction from Scyther as they head into turn 1. And, yep, someone's off in the wall. And look at Blonde. Look at Lewis Piper trying to fight with Blonde into turn 1 and Sandoval. They're still side by side as they head up to the casino curve. Ooh, little contact. Oh boy, that's a little too close for comfort. And Blonde muscles his way into back into second place. Reese thinking about sneaking a peek on Lewis Piper. Here they come into the casino hairpin. Slowest section there. Ooh, look at Hunted Brave.
That was twice.
That's a nice overtake.
Yeah, they were lucky enough to get damaged. Twice in a row they banged wheels. Oh my goodness. Sam Steed, no front wing by.
Yeah, Sam Steed looks like probably got caught off because of that start. Now he is running no ABS. So that's probably why he's all that. And it looks like we got more damage.
Virtual safety car.
That's Crispy.
Yeah,
Crispy, no wing.
He turned in too early at the Nouvelle chicane, and Jack Miles just at the back of him. I don't know if Jack has any damage, but not good at all there.
Oh, that's super unfortunate to say the least. I don't see any wing damage on Jack's car, so I think he got away unscathed. Unfortunately, Crispy, no wing, and the Alfa Romeos are also in too. I think they may have gotten damaged. Yeah, everybody, almost everyone in that bottom field's going in.
It was turn 4, I want to say, the 2 Alfa Romeos. Dive bomb, bang wheels when they tried to get single file off the hairpin. It was just inevitable that they were going to both have damage. I saw that coming from that far back.
Well, I'm taking a look at the pit stops. Yeah, so Crispy and Gerard switching out their tires and also replacing the front wings. Tadpole and Hunted just switching the tires. We're back underway with Scyther leading the charge from Blonde and Lewis Piper, who's sitting in 3rd. And then the rest of the field, it is Reese, TB, Darius, White, Zakaria, Jack, and those are the 9 that have basically been surviving unscathed right now. Hunted is the top of the ones that pitted in 10th place.
So I think if place right now, DRS will it be effective? Not too much, but you know what? It's something around this track. And speaking of that, once it is enabled, at the end of lap 3 for these drivers to actually use, Blonde just made a little mistake and got out of that 1 second margin there with Lewis Piper charging behind now and close for comfort as Reese sets the fastest lap in the Red Bull. Hanging right behind these guys, waiting for something to happen. You can't blame him. I mean, it's hard to overtake here. You just gotta wait for something to happen in front of you. But you also don't want to be too close either, because if something does happen in front of you, then you could get collected in as well.
Indeed. I mean, this track is so tight that even if an incident happens, you can't guarantee that ghosting will save your skin and you'll pass right through. There's a chance that you may not go through and you'll wind up hitting somebody and you'll have your race ruined by either no wing or pretty much DNFing out of the race. But Lewis Piper is all over the back of Blonde, trying to pressure him into a mistake. I'm on board with Reese. He's just like a shark smelling blood in the water. He's just waiting for these two to make a mistake, to screw up, and then he can take advantage and get by both of them to try to see if he can get past in there. Who, by the way, right now, 2.2.
Top 9 all did not have. And this is eventually in the race. This is not right now. They won't pit toward halfway, but this is saying eventually, later on in the race, they get caught so far back, let's say they extend. Well, if you get caught behind where you shouldn't, that's exactly what happened.
A safety
and
car.
Here you go. There's that VSC.
It is a safety car. Sam Steed has crashed into back.
That's the second season in a row he's DNF'd in this race in the opening 5 laps. I'm interested.
Don't forget,
only a VSC
we had
right
no ABS active in this game, and Sam Steed has not been accustomed to no ABS.
Our race leader is in, so is the rest of them.
Everyone's coming in.
Except for Reese. Reese is staying out under the VSC.
Yeah.
They must have thought it would upgrade to a full safety car by now. They must have.
It is a safety car. Because on my screen, the safety car is currently going through.
The
safety car is currently going through Mirabeau.
So is this going to be the glitch where the safety car follows these guys or not? Because it's only just a VSC, but the safety car is going around at regular pace and not stopped right now.
No, because right now it just went out of the hairpin on my screen.
I see. It's slowing down now, I think. But yeah, that's interesting. I see what yeah. And
I think it's probably a glitch on our end.
Yeah, because if it's running around like that, let's see. I mean, what's going on, Reese? Okay, he's slowing down behind the safety car, so we should be okay. Yeah, it's probably just saying a VSC, but it's a genuine safety car. So yeah, that was
okay. So it's probably a glitch on our side, on our piece, because we got the VSC graphic on our screen.
Yeah, I did not see the safety car in the bottom right. That is my apologies right there. But yeah, like I said, Reese and DeChiller, the only two from that top 6 area who stayed out. So that kind of takes everything I was just talking about out the window. And there, yeah, it was very. I think this was a big day for Haas to score points. You just gotta survive and be the best of the best.
Yeah, pretty much. You know, I forgot to ask it during this, but in regards to both safety cars and VSCs, how many do you think is going to show up today?
Yeah, as we see it now, updated. Apologies there for cutting in, but yeah, tough because he's gonna play into the strategy so differently, especially with guys like DeChiller, you know, even Reese. They're the only two yet to pit in this race. So, safety car wise, I don't know. It's tough because it's hard to tell. Is it gonna bring out a VSC or is it gonna bring out a safety car? But I'm gonna say we at least see at least one more safety car. If I were to say, I'm gonna go with one safety car, one more VSC. So, what do you think?
I think we're going to pass it. I think we're going to go. I'm going to say this. Within the range of 15 to 10 laps to go, we'll be at our limit.
That's fair. And you know what? That gives us a good amount of time for, you know, the drivers to race it out and safety cars to not intervene every, let's say, 8 laps, you know? So that's a very fair guess. Speaking of safety cars, I feel like we're going to see some next week with Tier 2 and Tier 1. They're both at Canada next week. So just thought I'd mention that. So you guys who are watching, you make sure you tune in for those because if you're racing Tier 2 and you're racing Tier 1 both, like Sam did this weekend, then you've got good practice if, you know, you're able to fill in at that point. That's exactly what that does. So we shall see.
Well, there's also guys like Tadpole, and there's also guys like Tadpole.
Very true.
He has raced every single event this weekend. He raced Coda on Friday. He was in F2 earlier in Qatar. Now he's here.
Break. Give that man a damn break. No, I mean, you know what though? This is a really good test for him. And I mean, I know it's not the same thing, and I know he's not probably looking at it like a test, but I don't care what people say. This is obviously, this being Tier 1 Monaco. You run around the Tier 1 drivers, you get to see what they do, you get to improve it for Tier 2. You get to improve it for maybe F2. This is perfect scenario for him. I know it's not the same thing. You're not running the same F2 car. You're not running the same cars you are in F2. You're not running the same drivers you are in Tier 2. But it gives him good practice. It gives him good focus, and maybe it helps his awareness. I'm just taking a bold guess as the safety cars come in as to what it could help, because he could improve by racing this race. You would never know.
Indeed. So safety car is coming in this time. Once Reese crosses the line, we'll complete lap 7 of 39. We're on board with the chiller to see how he reacts to Reese taking off. My best guess, he's going to... Yep, that's what I figured. He's going to take off right before Anthony Nogues. And there is... I'm actually just gonna let my teammate through and continue on. And that, Scyther got messed up.
No, I think he either got messed up and then let him go, or just simply let him go. I was thinking that Scyther was gonna end up going ahead, and DeChiller was gonna be the one protecting for his teammate on the fresher tires.
Tight.
Wow, too wide to the hairpin. They do make contact, but they keep it straight. Unbelievable! Oh my God!
Woo! On board with Scyther. There's
DeChiller somehow is that a blonde. Oh my God!
Had to get the place. Scyther got an illegal overtake.
Wow, that is big. And by the way, Blonder on the outside at that hairpin right there, or not the hairpin, sorry, the chicane. And then in the sector 3 got ahead. I was amazed by that. I think you caught the tail end of that. That was incredible. And the two Alphas were side by side again too. Oh my God!
That was an oops.
Yeah, that was.
That was an oops by Darius there.
Fake TV.
He lets his teammate through, goes to fall right behind, and almost collected Lewis Piper. That was an oops.
That's what happens
when
when you both okay.
And also, I just saw it on the timing screen. TB is in the penalty box.
Yeah. Tadpole got a penalty right before him. They're side by side again toward the hairpin. I cannot believe you did that for a second lap in a row, guys. Oh my God. Man, you tell me Monaco's boring. It may be, but you know what? With the drivers we have in our field, I think they're making the most of it. I really do. And yeah, you mentioned fake TV before him. So, like I said, that learn
comes to RPL and Tier 1 is that you never expect to happen, and did see in the hairpin with and Lewis Piper. Always expect the unexpected. These guys sometimes have an unpredictable mindset, and a lot of times that unpredictable mindset always brings out some great racing action from these guys.
Yeah, this time Wolstow is closer to Chile. I don't know if he'll pass the same car in his academy, but like I said, could see it again. You never know. And by the way, Grandpa does pit. I saw that battle there, and that was heading into to back, and I saw them go side by side there. I don't know who was on the inside of who, but one of them just clipped the outside wall just a little bit, and I think it might have resulted in some damage. Don't know if anything else happened after that to cause more damage if that was the case, but that could be why he's in the pit lane, because the Alpha Boys, they've been side by side most out of anyone in this race. Opening lap, restart, they cannot get away from the side-by-side action that they're providing. And I mean, they're not running each other over completely. I mean, they're banging wheels, but they're not running each other completely in the wall with audacious moves. So credits them for not just being a little overboard, at least, as Scyther sets the fastest lap. Net P2.
Indeed. Looks like Gerard just got himself into the penalty box for track limits. That looks like it was in the Nouvelle Chicane. That's where he did it. Nouvelle Chicane, Saint-Devote, and probably the swimming pool chicanes. You're going to expect quite a lot of track limit warnings and penalties. Meanwhile, further up, as we get to the front here, Reese is building that lead over Blonde, 3.5 seconds over Blonde right now, and Blonde is currently maintaining a steady 1.2 second gap over Scyther right now, and TB was thinking about trying to sneak a peek on Lewis Piper, but it's not close enough to warrant a shot. I mean, we've seen we've seen before the Nouvelle Chicane, and no one with TB. Crazy risks and crazy game.
Adding on to what you say with track limits right there, I want to say, I think the hairpin could be one to mention. You usually don't think of the hairpin as one, but if you're trying to give a ton of room on that hairpin when you're going side by side like we saw earlier, we could see at least a track limit warning being picked up there, because those guys, if they go too far in the hairpin, you can see what happens with track limit penalties, and there you go. Another safety car for Grandpa crashing out of this race, and that is one of our predictions so far right.
Yeah, Gerard has Leclerc'd himself out of the race. He has crashed out of the swimming pool chicane, pretty much the same way that Leclerc did during qualifying. Monaco, I believe, was last year, I think it was. That's what he did.
2021, 2022, either one. I don't remember. One of the two.
But it is super unfortunate. So that is 2 Ferrari Academy cars out of the event, and we're only on lap 11. Now this is going to open up for Reese and I believe Reese and Blonde to come into the pits.
Definitely Reese and DeChiller.
No, Reese and DeChiller. Sorry.
Yeah, Reese is coming. DeChiller should be, because you know what? He was holding up so that whole time there, and it was just creating such a pack of cars. I think it's.
Lewis Piper's back in.
Oh boy. Is this damage or is it not? Let's find out. I don't know. Like with no, it's not. It's a change of tires. I was gonna say with the chiller though, as he does stay out, which does surprise me. I'm surprised he is extending here, because I thought he would have got the pit stop out of the way. Said, you know what? Let's go mediums here, just like Lewis Piper is. Let's figure out something. And the chiller is ahead of the Red Bull there of Reese, which is very interesting. When it comes to the constructor battle, I know, the Chiller's the only guy yet to pit in this race, but it does provide a little action right there with Ferrari Red Bull, and like I said, he hasn't pitted yet, but the fact of the matter is, if he pitted and got out of the way now, I would think that he would be able to get others based on mistakes and others pitting later if we have a safety car. So he's stretching it out, he's trying something. Blame him though? Can you? I don't.
Oh no, so I mean, when Reese came in, he is out in the 5th place spot. Like I said, Darius did get ahead of him, and crazily, Wiseau almost got ahead. But unfortunately, Wiseau was just a couple meters too late to successfully finish an overtake on Reese. Wiseau did temporarily get ahead, but unfortunately. So let's reset the grid leader of this race. Scyther is the Chiller in 4, Reese 5. Then we got Wiseau 6, and Jack 8, Owen 9. Left and survived. We have Hunted in 11th, Crispy in 12th, and Tadpole just came into the pits. He is going to be sitting in 13th.
It's the race of attrition. It's time to see who's got their stuff saved, whether it's tires, whether it's using their head, whatever it is. for the remaining portion of this race with what, 25-ish laps to go, something like that. And I just
Roughly.
noticed, I don't know if it's damaged, but I guess just stacking up and trying to avoid one another. I think heading into, I think that's Mirabeau. Owen tried avoiding Jack Miles and just touched the wall with his right front. I don't know if it's damaged. We'll know in the coming laps if his performance is off, if that is it or not. But big thing there with Owen. Just tapping the wall. It wasn't big, but it's a big thing if it does affect him. Because we'll see it with the safety car coming in this time.
And the safety car is in.
Telling
We'll
his
see
teammate,
how
hurry up.
Scyther reacts to Blonde's get away. Slow reaction to Reese. And he takes off. He takes just before Rascass, and we're off and away. And a rocket. We're back on the way in Monaco.
Wow.
As they head into turn number 1. TB trying to stay in pursuit, and looks like Lewis Piper decided to sneak a move on Owen in Sandavat.
There was definitely
Gets
contact.
it done. He's
there down the inside. Woohoo! Crispy's trying it around the outside.
here we go again.
Oh my god! Here's that penalty I was talking about, the hairpin. And Crispy is ahead. Okay, so they do figure it out. Hunted did get that track limit penalty from trying to give room at the hairpin and avoid contact or a collision.
And Lewis Piper just overtook Jack just before the tunnel exit. Oh, there goes Owen. He has to cut the Nouvelle chicane after contact by Crispy. So that penalty will definitely get removed, because we did see Crispy tap the back of Owen.
Owen is
And it
definitely
resulted
struggling
in
now.
Owen going off the track and had to cut the corner. Oh boy, a little more contact again between Crispy and Hunted. Ay, ay, ay.
Hunted's in the wall and he's got front wing damage now. As Reese does get the chiller.
Reese took the chiller down on the exit of Sandoval as they headed up Beau Rivage.
That's
Now,
what the Tires
Weissel, by the
does.
way, is sitting in the 6th place spot. Not bad for the Haas, but he's being hounded by the McLaren of Lewis Piper. Lewis Piper is really putting on a strong showing to try to gain as many positions as possible. And Weissel gets a little loose on the exit, and Crispy has crashed in Mirabeau, and that's safety car number 3.
And only one more to use, I think. Or two. One or two, I think. Lewis Piper, by the way, let me just give him credit. Holding on the back of Weissel. He has got so much pace in this race. But this isn't what happens. The track position's not there either. So we should watch out what happens here on the restart.
Sure, I mean, Lewis Piper's wild overtake so far. He got Owen and Sandoval. He got Jack out of the tunnel. I'm not sure what he did to get past what he got past to get past Zakaria. And looks like TB and Scyther are in the pits.
Is the chiller in too? No, the chiller stays out. That's a smart move. You don't want to double stack with your teammate. Although you could have came in this time, it would have definitely cost him. And the chiller still staying out and saying, hey, I want to go bold and I want to try something different here. And as you said, Scyther, TB, Owen, Hunted, I mean, Blonde. Pressure tires, because if he or he may end up like a pusher. He may be just simply two-stopping it, but the safety car gets in the way of that, so we shall see. You know a lot about a puncture from this morning, right, Titan? How much percent was your tires on when that happened in F2 earlier today?
Let's just say this: in the sprint race, left front was at 78, and as I was exiting the corner, it popped, but thankfully still got 7th. And then in the feature, with 2 to go, it popped at 84. Same tire too.
So if you're blonde, look out for that. So that's very crucial to know. especially with. I know it's F2, different cars, different way of doing things, but you know, it looked like he was thinking about going to the pits there, but did not. I'm just saying that is something to watch out for. With these safety cars, it does at least help it in the sense to where you're not wasting as much tire wear, but it puts him in a position to where saves or goes for a two-stop, and he's gonna have to do that two-stop with these guys pitting, such as Scyther, Fake, TB, Owen now, all for mediums, and they should be okay to go the rest of the race from the way we're looking, but don't count on it 100%.
Safety cars are also helping the chiller out too, because he hasn't pitted yet. So, I mean, literally, even if we get like another one later on, it's possible the chiller is probably gonna wait out long enough for another safety car to come out, probably like within like, I don't know, maybe like within the last 10 laps of the race, and then pit for sauce and finish off the race on the soft compound tire.
Yeah, I think that was a smart move to go.
Maybe that's what Darius is hoping for, because some of these guys do tend to go long on the harder tires and then decide to finish it off on the soft. Oh, Owen's crashed into the safety car.
That's...
he's crashed in the
hairpin.
hairpin.
Yeah, that's very weird. Was he... You know, I noticed he was pulling alongside his teammate under the previous safety car saying, hey, get a speed up going. And I don't think he was directing it as a teammate, I'll correct myself from earlier, but he was directing at the front of the pack of like, why are we going so slow? And I think it caught him off guard for a second time, potentially. I don't know. He'll probably tell us, but for the third time, safety car's coming in. Here we go.
Absolutely, safety car is in. Well, Blonde successfully handled against Scyther on the restart. Let's see how he fares about pulling away from Reese. And Blonde takes off at the exit of Rascast, but Reese maintains an even better gap than when Scyther is. We're back on the way, and Lewis Piper already past YSO up into P4.
Yeah.
But no, he's slowing down. He's got to get the place back.
Yeah, that was inevitable. That was inevitable as the lead is close once again. It's a 10th, 2 tenths. Yeah, I did not see no way that the game was not going to do that. Oh my God! Whew. That got close.
Whew.
Don't know if you saw that.
Lewis Piper's really putting on a show. And speaking of shows, Scyther overtaking Tadpole on the outside of the hairpin.
Yeah, he knew it was time, especially with Fake TB now getting past Tadpole, and Scyther in front of that getting past Jack Miles under the tunnel. Oh my God, that got close. But it's unbelievable the moves this guy can make. Oh, wow.
My Lord, these guys are really just going all out here as Jack moves over and lets his teammate through. TB up in the 8th, Scyther up in the 9th. Now he's got a 7th. He's got Hunt Zakaria down, little tap as he head into Rascast. And woo, Zakaria puts a block on him to keep him back, and here we go. And, Zakaria loses it.
Oh.
Did some damage to the wing, and Scyther up into the 6th place spot. And Reese, by the way, just took the lead from Blonde at the end of Bull Rivage.
That was incredible. He got the exit and got through because Blonde's tires are just going, and that's something we'll have to watch with the chiller soon as well, because I think the chiller's the same way. Zakaria, by the way, with no front wing. Let me just mention something about him for a moment. Oh, more front wing going. Oh, that was the Red Bull, and who was that? Was that
TB? Yeah. TB's got no wing.
Who did he make contact with? He had damage before that with the Zakaria contact coming out of Anthony Noge. And he was in an unlucky spot there when it came to Zakaria sliding, running in the back of him while trying to make the move on Scyther. And before that, that was Zakaria getting the penalty with the chicane in front of Scyther. Yeah, that's what led to all that happening in the first place. Coming out of the final corners, you saw Wyso and Scyther swap places. That, I'm telling you, Scyther, he's going to go to 4th now. That will be the move of the race, whether or not it's lucky or not. With Scyther being on that outside line, giving room, Zakaria had trouble in front of Fake TB, and Fake TB just had nowhere to go, and he was in a bad line. Scyther was getting very vulnerable there, and Fake TB was setting him up, but the line he took, to just not be in the way there of when that all happened. It's completely helped him so much in this restart, coming from the back of the.
And Lewis Piper in Blonde to go into the second place position. Now, Blonde, let's get some stats here. Now, Blonde has not won in Tier 1 yet. He's not won yet. Blonde is a six-time F2 race winner. There it is. He is a 4-time Tier 2 race winner. Now, Blonde's never won before, but he's holding his own pretty strongly in the Mercedes, sitting in that second place. But Lewis Piper has been really putting on a strong showing so far, hanging in that third place spot. I think those patches that the real line McLaren got, it got into the game, and Lewis Piper is really showing his stride in the podium places.
Yeah, he may actually have a genuine chance to win this race if he can just get by Blonde right now, and that's what's costing him time to sight there. You can just see that gap shrinking and shrinking and shrinking. The only other DRS battle we have is Tadpole and Hunted and TB and Zakaria, but TB and Zakaria both had to pit for damage. As you see Lewis Piper closing in once again. This is going to get close into Sector 3 as now Scyther's in DRS.
Yeah, Scyther is in the fold now, but I mean, literally, the eyes are on the action between the McLaren and the Mercedes. I'm wondering where the positionings are going to be once they get out of Anthony Nogues. I think Lewis Piper has an opportunity to go for an overtake, but the question is where will he go? When will he go for it? He thought about it in Sandoval, but couldn't do it. Blonde being as wide as humanly possible. And just can't, and Blonde is just having to deal.
Oh my
now
God.
With not one but two as Scyther trying to sneak a peek at Casino.
This is gonna get close. Here we go. Inside line. He gives it to him.
Boy, contact. Woo.
Wow.
That was
They
close.
survived that one quite good.
Little tap between Scyther and Lewis Piper, and Scyther up in the third.
Yeah, Fake TB is also trying to pass Zakaria at the last sector for points as well. He had just tapped the wall there. Just to mention that's a battle that will definitely change the outcome of the constructors, with Reese leading, by the way. So interesting things we'll see here after the race. But here comes Scyther once again.
Scyther trying to sneak at a peek on Lewis Piper, this time in the box section as they go through the swimming pool chicane. He's thinking, what am I going to do? I'm trying to get past, but he's literally a brick wall.
And he knows he's faster,
Scyther
too.
now looks like he has an easy opportunity this time. Ooh. Thinking of sneaking a peek. Is he going to go for a shot? Thinking about it. No, decides to wait.
Yeah, that's park the bus right there from Blonde. Just Fernando Alonso type of style here. He goes again, though. Which way? It's going to have to be a door that Blonde does leave open. And Lewis Piper, by the way, is also waiting because he knows once Scyther gets him, Lewis Piper can't shoot him.
Here we go.
Contact.
Tap, yep.
And this time Lewis Piper didn't get him. So that was interesting there. I thought once the door opened, it might have stayed open, but it didn't. So now we'll watch for Lewis Piper to try to do the same thing.
Scyther and Blonde make a little tap, and Scyther is up in the second place. However, this is going to result in, he's got a lot of work to do. 6.9 seconds to catch Reese, and I just saw on my timing screen, Tadpole, who went to the pits, actually just got a penalty for crossing the white line.
Yes, that must have been his second time doing it then.
Let's go a little bit into the mid-pack here as Darius just got himself into the penalty club.
Wow.
In the swimming pool
Lewis
chicane.
Piper this time. Lewis Piper with DRS actually makes the DRS overtake before turn 1. Unbelievable.
Woo. What
don't see that
move by Lewis Piper. I mean, we only got 15 laps to go in this race, but I'm actually going to make my shoe-in right now. Lewis Piper is my strongest contender right now for driver of the day.
Yeah, I mean, you've got Weisto and Hunted who are closer to Chiller, which is really, I'll call it the bottom half of the top 3 teams. But Lewis Piper putting his nose right in there. We've seen it time and time again this season. We saw it last week in Spain. And you know what? We're seeing it again, but this time it's more effective. I'm telling you, if you want to see a winner from outside the top 3 teams, this might be the guy to do it soon enough, but that's the jinx!
Oh no!
That's why it might not happen today! Oh.
Well, Lewis Piper can keep his third if he gets over 3 seconds clear of Blonde. Right now he's 1.2 seconds ahead, and I got the leader interval gap put up. Now, once the chiller comes in, once he does come in and sets himself out, I think by looks of it, he will come out probably ahead of Tadpole right now in the 9th place spot. And Darius is coming in now. He's getting off those hard tires, 25 laps on those hards, and he's onto the medium compound tires now as Jack clears by, going off. And let's see, Tadpole is currently going through Rascast right now. And Darius is going to stay in the 8th place spot. And on fresh mediums, that means there's going to open up an opportunity for him to go for the fastest lap if he wants to take it from his teammate.
I know we've given a lot of credit to Lewis Piper, and that's your academy driver here, but can we give some credit to Weiso? Haas do not have any points on the board this season. Sam Steed crashed out early, so it also automatically ruined their chance of getting their second double finish of the season, which was previously done at Miami. But with that said, Weiso could get Haas's first points and their first top 5 of the season nonetheless too, if he can just hang on. No penalties assumed as well, as I did jinx Lewis Piper a couple laps ago. But credits due where credits due. You want to talk about Lewis Piper sneaking in right there? Well, there's best of the rest right there with Weiso. Fair play.
Yeah, fair. Yeah, I completely agree. Weiso hanging on in that 5th place spot. I'll have to check my notes again to see how well they've been. I don't remember the last time Haas did really strong. I think it was like a few games ago, like F1, probably like F1 2020 days. That was the last time that Haas was extremely powerful, or something like that. But Hunted has actually been fair. Whoa, contact in the hairpin between Hunted and Weiso, but no harm, no foul. I don't see damage on any of the 2 cars. Now, Hunted, had he not gotten those penalties, him sitting in 6th right now. He's doing pretty good. But I mean, even with the penalties coming into effect, Hunted is still going to be keeping that 6th place spot.
Big TB on Zakaria, down the inside. Oh, he rear locks. Oh, he just put Zakaria in the wall from the rear lock.
Oh boy, that might not be good. And yeah, there is damage to the wing on Zakaria on the left side. Zakaria, for several laps, was keeping TB back, but now that contact has put
laps in the mediums. I don't think it's going to go the full way, but now it's recovery time because he could still get 4th place back from him, unless a safety car does change it, or DNF, because that all can still happen.
That's possible.
With 10 laps to
yeah,
go.
Blonde right now, compared to Weiso, 4.8 seconds, the gap between Weiso and Blonde right now. And Scyther, by the way, 4.2 seconds behind Reese. So I think if I'm looking at it right, I think Scyther has gained 3 seconds on Reese in the span of 6 laps.
Yeah, and by the way, just to mention with Scyther again, with what I mentioned before in qualifying, the guy who goes on to win the championship when Monaco has been ran in RPL, has not won this race since F1 2020 with L74G in the Mercedes. So if you are Scyther and you want to win the championship, you either want to win this race and break that stat, or you either do not want to win this race but still come home second with a good day. I know it sounds very stupid to say you don't want to win the race, but with that stat, it's been quite effective here for RPL for a long time.
Indeed, looking at the points right now, so Reese is looking at bringing bringing home 25 points as Blonde has successfully taken Hunted at the top of Beau Rivage in the casino turn. You think I just lost my partner?
Yeah, my F1 just crashed.
Oh, your game crashed.
Yeah. Hey,
Well,
you know what? It's good that it happened while I was.
Oh, Blonde's on Waiso. Blonde on Waiso. It gets into pass him in the tunnel. Blonde is back up in the 4th.
Yeah,
What a move by Blonde against Waiso there. And Hunted now into the penalty box. And Lewis Piper's in the pits.
Oh. Didn't think he could make it, maybe? You know, I just saw that on stream with Blonde's move. Yeah, very good traction over that corner. Oh, interesting.
But also a wing change, so Lewis Piper had damaged wing too.
Smart. You thought you were maybe going to lose a lot more time.
That's going to be interesting, but that puts Blonde. Oh, we have a safety. I think maybe not. Do we have a safety? No safety car. Hunted went into the pits and retired from 7th place. So that means no matter what happens, these guys are going to be finishing in the points regardless of placement. But anyway, so Lewis Piper did come back out. He's got the Chiller right behind. But Blonde is sitting in 3rd, Waiso in 4th. Let me try to get you back in.
Perfect timing.
Try to get you in here. Hang on.
By the way,
get you in. There we go.
Haas have points as of right now. So fair play to them.
Yes, Haas are guaranteed points unless they crash out before the 90% marker.
Yes, exactly. That's why I said as of now, because regardless of what happens, you could pit about 10 times. Well, maybe not 10 times, but you can pit quite a few times and still get points. So that's how it goes for them. I'm gonna say it's 35 or more, at least 35 or more. So
lap 35. So they have to complete lap 35 in order for it to count. And Lewis Piper back in the pits again. Well, there goes my contender for driver today. He just went to the pits again for new tires and a wing change.
That's so unfortunate, honestly. It's a real bummer that it is that way for him because he had such a good run and going, such good pace. When are we gonna see him finally get it into a podium and potentially a top 2 finish to steal one away from these guys? I'm interested to know. I really am.
Yeah, I'm really wondering myself, and also I just noticed this span of 4 laps, Scyther has cut the gap in half. He was 4.3 seconds behind Reese on lap 28. We're entering lap 32, and the gap is now exactly 2 seconds. So it's possible Scyther could catch Reese with 3, maybe 2 to go.
As Martin Brundle once said, I've never been this disappointed since Shrek 2. As much as I want to see, look, as much as I do want to see Scyther catch him so we can see a battle, that stat is impressive that it's been that way for, what, 5-6 seasons? And the fact of the matter is, this changes the Constructors' Championship quite a bit, you know? So, with 1 Red Bull leading, 1 Red Bull 9th, the 2 Ferrari 2nd and 5th, I mean, Ferrari still gain points wherever they're going to finish. Whether there be 2nd and 5th, that's 28 points versus your 26. So, yeah, that should be interesting.
Yeah, TB is in the pits, and also, I can't believe I'm saying this, but Zakaria and now TB, they have been lapped.
So,
TB has been lapped by his teammate, and the Chiller takes Waiso just before the Nouvelle chicane up in the 4th place.
But he does have a penalty
so
with expensive
looking at it right now, let's see, Reese is looking at 25, TB is looking at 20, is currently looking at 22, 2 points, so that's 27. Scyther and the Chiller right now are looking at 31, so looks like unofficially right now, Ferrari is going to gain 4 points on Red Bull right now.
Well, this should get interesting then, because it's still within
Oh,
15
I
points.
see what TB's up to. TB is on the softs. He's going to try to steal fastest lap. Well, Scyther had fastest lap, but now Lewis Piper has it.
Yeah, very interesting stuff right there. And by the way, Lewis Piper is the next guy who could get lapped.
Let's see. Scyther is currently 1.4 seconds, and he's got Reese in his crosshairs. Meanwhile, speaking of Lewis Piper, he's got his teammate right in front of him. So McLaren versus the Alpine co-team principal as Lewis Piper goes in and takes him in the tunnel.
Easy new tires. You know what? Bound to happen. By the way, I just thought I'd mention this because the tires are wearing off. We saw the chiller just gap Weiso quite a bit. 28 lap parts from those guys. Should we be worried about a puncture? I'd like to know from you.
Well, yeah, Jack and Weiso have stopped. They stopped under the first safety car.
Yes. Yep.
I mean,
it's tight. It's tight. That's why.
They could do it because I mean the tire wear if they're okay. I think they're averaging about 2% a lap roughly. Maybe they could be okay, but if they're averaging about 3. I mean, Weiso and Jack are really pushing the luck.
Scyther just got throwing damage right there, hitting the wall, entering sector 3.
He's in the pits as well,
and he's
going on to the sauce.
Yeah.
Let's see, where's Blonde? Blonde is currently going through Rascast right now.
This is going to get close for P2. This should be fun, considering Scyther picked up damage. This is the battle for second place, and it's actually a battle now. Unbelievable.
Indeed, Blonde does take second place, and Scyther is off and away. He's going to be right behind the lap car of Zakaria.
We'll let him go, I just assume right away.
Yeah, he'll let him through, no problem. But, yeah, so it looks like for sure, unless something catastrophic happens, Reese is looking to be a shoo-in to win this race.
Yeah, where he got the damage, it was to back. He slid entering the corner, trying to pick up speed and hit it with his right front, and that is what got the wing damage. I was riding on board while that happened. I don't know if the stream picked it up or not, but that is what can happen. So interesting stuff right there. And by the way, 30 laps now on those hards as we were talking about. Sorry to cut in with those puncture talks with Weiso and Jack Miles as we see Lewis Piper now fighting to get by. And reasonably so, because he's got so much more pressure tires.
Oh yeah, Lewis Piper, he's right on the tail of Jack. I wouldn't be surprised to see an overtake here.
Right here.
And yes, he does. He goes for it. And Lewis Piper up in the 6th.
Very calculated. He was just not too impatient. He's a very smart driver, you know? If he ends up getting what he needs to win a race, I guarantee you the result will be there unless something happens like today. That's all I could say. He's impressed me. He really has. And if I were to give a driver of the day Titan, I would definitely give it to Weiss. So I know Lewis Piper's been the guy for me, but Haas's circumstances, Haas's season so far, I know Lewis Piper's. If it weren't for some of the mistakes and the penalties, as we see a move being made, usually not right there. Yeah,
that was super tight.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Lewis Piper takes Weiso into Beau Rivage.
The driver of the day for me, right there would be Weiso, and what should have been the driver of the day overtook what I would give driver of the day from Weiso. Haas's circumstances, just everything around their stuff. The fact that they're in the points right now, they just can't bin it for the last 2 laps, and I'm impressed. I really am. It's interesting how that's that way, and we see Fake TB countering Scyther right here.
Yeah, so it looks like TB is looking to try to go for fastest lap, because there is, well, basically 2 laps to go for the lap cars in this main race, because they're on lap 37 to 39. TB's on 36. And Scyther did get the fastest lap with a 10-1, which, for my, let's see, my memory's right, is about 1.5 seconds off of the pole time,
Gonna be hard to
to
beat.
say the least. And Scyther, as I'm on board with him, appearing in his crosshairs, there's Blonde. And I did check this piece out on the on my stats here. Reese, when he crosses the line and claims victory today, he is going to end a 13 race drought, because his last win was last season in Singapore, which was round 16. And from there, we had races like China, Abu Dhabi, the sprint race in Brazil, and some of the races there. But there goes Scyther trying to make a shot on Blonde, but Blonde once again putting up that brick wall to keep him behind.
Scyther's not finished worse in the last three. He's not finished worse than second in the last 3 street races. So he is trying to at least make sure he finishes second today. Excuse me on that one. That was poor word management, but yeah, trying to make sure he at least finishes in the top 2, because that streak would be gone, and he's trying to make Blonde gone, because he's still on the back of him. And here we go. This is a prime opportunity.
Oh, yeah.
We saw it earlier. We see it again. He's got the traction. He's right there now, closer than before. He has to wait.
Scyther was thinking of saw a couple opportunities, but just couldn't seem to get it done. And meanwhile, Reese has just crossed the line to start the final lap of this race.
For the second week in a row, are we going to see a gap that's 15 plus seconds?
Oh, yeah.
That's impressive. Back-to-back races.
Here we go. Scyther looking to make a shot around the outside. Is he going to go for it? No, he cannot. Oh, contact in the back behind, between the two. But Scyther and Blonde are still fighting up hard as TB steals fastest lap from Scyther
by 7,000. Wow, that's close.
That's a good gap right there.
Here he goes.
Oh boy, here we go. Oh, maybe not. Nope. Scyther there was a shot Scyther had, but just can't seem to get it done.
Gonna be right here out of Portier.
What a Monaco GP. We've seen crashes, we've seen end plates, we've seen wings fly, we've seen cars crashing and everything. Oh, yep, here we go.
Move done.
Scyther gets past Blonde, but the man of the hour, as he comes out of Anthony Noakes for the last time, he ends a 13 race drought. Reese comes across the line and will win RPL Monaco. Good effort for him. And as they come out of the final corner, Scyther goes for some of his last laps, and he is going to claim second place. Blonde, very impressive to get himself into third. And now we have an extensive wait for our next drivers. The next guy that will be coming across the line to claim 9th place is going to be TB.
This is Wiseau and Jack. This is heading to the Nouvelle Chicane. Oh, it just got close, but not close enough. We still could see some moves in the last sector if there's a mistake. Sorry to cut in, but this is still going on. He's kicking off. 6th and 7th Haas. They're trying to come home for either 8 points or 6 points of the day from their race with just Wiseau.
I just lost audio for some reason.
Oh, slide! Oh, from Jack Miles. They're both
Lewis
sliding.
Piper comes across for 5th. And kudos to Wiseau getting 6th place and gets points for Haas.
And I have to give credit there, because you know what? Both of them were sliding and both of them were on 30 some odd lap hards. Fair play to them, not getting a puncture, just hanging out. I know you can take hards most of the race. I'm aware of that, but the circumstances with both those drivers, they didn't choose to sit here and say, we're going for a 2-step. They stuck it out, and they impressed me. Both Jack Miles and Wiseau. Fair play.
Indeed. And sorry if you ain't catching any audio on the stream side. Apparently, after Blonde crossed the finish line, we lost audio for the game for some weird reason.
You know how you talked about qualifying a week ago?
Happened, but yeah, so
the top 3?
Reese claims victory over Scyther and Blonde. Good showing between these guys here.
Yeah.
But Wowee. What a Monaco GP, to say the least. So there it is. Reese claims victory over Scyther. Blonde is in third place. Chiller will take 4. Lewis Piper 5. Wiso. Haas gets their first points. Then we had Jack in 8th. Jack 7. Tapple 8. TB 9. And Zakaria rounds it up in 10th place. And then the rest of the field, it is Hunted, Owen, Crispy, Gerard, and Sam Steed. That rounds out our field. Wow. What a race there.
Haas's first points since Brazil last season with Sam Steed. And by the way, it wasn't just you who had the audio cut as well. I think the other drivers are saying that they did as well. So not just you. And you mentioned something in Spain last week about that top 3 with Red Bull, Ferrari, Mercedes, or Ferrari, Red Bull, Mercedes. It's back. Look at the podium.
And speaking of which, Wiso and Jack, Wiso did share his tires. Left front 72%, right front 67%, and the rear tires 90.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
90% on those rear tires, and he still got 6th place.
So are you feeling a little bit like worse about the F2 punctures or what? I'd assume by that it doesn't make a good feeling in your stomach. And the same thing for the other F2 driver. I'm trying to think of the name. Spenny, I think. Yeah, it does not make a good feeling in both of your stomachs. I can tell right now. Yikes.
I'll be honest. I think I have officially changed my mind. I am gonna give driver of the day to Wiso.
Yeah.
In truth, I mean, Lewis Piper he put up a good showing, but he wound up finishing in 5th. But like I said, Wiso getting 6th and first points for Haas, especially keeping those tires not popping them. It's well deserved for Wiso, no doubt.
Agreed. I've commentated 2 other races at Monaco, and this one tops both of them. This was just absolutely incredible. Action throughout. Yeah, I mean, you have a smaller field. Could you have had that with a bigger field? Maybe, but you have more chance of chaos and more chance of a really crappy start that just has a bad feeling in your stomach. The only part about the start that you could really say was a little chaotic with Sam Steed off the line and running in the back of the guys in the back due to a really good start, and the Alpha boys colliding on turn 5 area. That was really the only thing that happened on the start that you could call chaotic or a little crazy, but this gave all the chaos and craziness we needed. You know, it's Monaco. It's gonna be hard to overtake. It's gonna be hard to place your car, but everyone did a really great job without sending something completely audacious. I think the only thing that I can maybe say was audacious was the TB and Zakaria contact. But beside that, I mean, I think it was a really good race. I think we saw a lot of overtaking, a lot of moves being made. No one was really that impatient. I mean, but everyone made the moves at the right time and was very smart, and we saw just an absolutely incredible race. Strategy involved too a little bit at one point. The tires, you had to make sure you got them to the end. I mean, absolutely incredible. These drivers, I mean, I get there was not as many as we usually have, but nonetheless, especially compared to the other leagues that I've commentated, this absolutely tops the other Monaco races, and I give credit more to these drivers than I do at any other ones. Yes, obviously they're tier 1, and it's gonna happen, but nonetheless, that to me, just those kind of things, that stands out. So fair play, RPL tier 1 drivers. You deserve some credit today, not just for some clean racing and a little bit of contact, reduced contact, I'll call it, but the amount of action we saw today. I don't usually set action that much at Monaco. I'm impressed. I 10 out of 10 for me. Sorry, I have to give credit.
Yeah, so Wiso has actually given his thank you to us for us giving him the driver of the day. Also, Blonde and the Chiller giving some respect to each other.
Yeah.
Blonde saying to him that we had a nice battle and neither of us ended in the wall. So good showing respect from those guys there. And clip submission has been declared open. So I guess in that case we'll be ending the stream shortly. So let's take a look at our events going on for next week. So let's see. So Friday, the Tier 2 drivers, as Ryan Alcom mentioned it, they are going to be racing around the circuit Gilles Villeneuve in Canada. Ryan Alcom will be on commentary for that one.
Yay.
F2 next Saturday. Well, if you think some of the racing in F2 has gotten kind of crazy, well, we're going to see even more craziness. This time, the RPL F2 drivers will be racing around the streets of Suzuka in Japan, and and the Tier 1 drivers, well, they're going to the same place Tier 2 is going. Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. They are racing in Canada for round 8 of the championship. Well,
Amazing.
Can't
wait.
Happen to have any final words before we end the stream here?
No, I mean, you kind of went a little funny accent there for a moment, so I'm not going to make fun of you but I'll at least tell you I noticed it. But regardless, I know it sounds like I give credit a lot here, and I do in F2 and Tier 2 for the action. F2 brings the action always, but with these drivers, yeah, I mean, you have the casual, 5-6 DNFs. With Monaco, it is sort of to be expected, and it's probably better we didn't have too many people DNFing from a 20-car field, and it's a better DNF ratio, I believe, than Saudi Arabia was. So, I will say, I'm probably going to be called, oh, you're dick sucking, oh, you're giving the drivers too much credit. No, they really do deserve credit, because the reality is, though, Monaco and all the leagues I've seen, it does not end up going this well. If it does, with DNFs, there's no action. But there was both. There was not as many DNFs, and there was quite the action. So, you know what? Yeah, credit is due where credit is due, and I'm high praise on that. With next week, you mentioned Canada. Canada is one of my favorite tracks driving-wise. Commentating-wise, I've commentated some good ones there, but I think we're in for a thriller, especially with, this should be interesting. You just mentioned Tadpole. I mentioned Sam Seed. Two drivers who've kind of filled in when it came to Tier 1 at some points. You got the same track as Tier 1. So, I mean, if you do end up racing Tier 1 as a reserve, in that sense, or a lone, whatever you want to kind of call it, with other teams, doesn't matter. Both are the same in some senses. You end up getting the practice you need. You end up getting an idea that, hey, this is what this is going to be like, and it's perfect for those guys in Tier 1. I absolutely recommend, if you're from Tier 1, you watch the end of the stream, watch Tier 2 next week, because it's watch Tier 2 in general, right? But this is perfect for these Tier 1 guys. If you're not going to practice, or if you can't practice for next week, or if you do practice and want to watch, this is the perfect idea for you to get. You get the idea, all right, am I going to be able to see what Tier 2 is like to get an idea for Tier 1? What am I expecting on Saturday? Then you can kind of take mental notes in your head from Tier 2 and understand, all right, got it. That's what I need to work on, and that's what is going to happen come race day the next day, 24 hours later from next week on Friday. So August 18th, August 19th, next week Canada, and after Japan. Should be tons of fun. I enjoyed this race. Did you enjoy this race, Titan?
Definitely enjoyed the race. We want to catch in some really strong battles. We saw some overtakes that we never expected to see happen. We've seen, like I said, lots of end plates, lots of wings going away. Probably the virtual Monaco fans got their fill of souvenirs with all that debris gone on some of the cars.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was all in all a really good race. It actually went far better than I thought it was going to be.
Me too.
That's for sure.
Me too. And that automatically, I know Monaco's standards for everybody is a lot different. That automatically does it for me. Makes it better and gives my praise. For a normal race, if there was just that many overtaking, I would call it a very mid race. But you know what? It's Monaco. The standards are always different for the tracks, obviously. But this one performed, and I'm happy. I just wish there's maybe wish there's a lot more drivers, but at the same time, maybe it's a blessing in disguise because you would have had, and I hate to say that, but maybe it's a blessing in disguise to some extent because we didn't see an absolute catastrophic lap 1 with a big crash and everything. I mean, you would have had something like that happen if there was maybe more drivers. Don't know, can't say for sure, but maybe that's what I say, maybe. So we'll see what happens. I mean, I can't get behind just how crazy it was for some of the overtakes, but I'm impressed. I really am, and it should be fun for next week and beyond that because we're set up for a good rest of the season with whether it be constructors in this tier, drivers standing in this tier, or even just the fact that Tier 2's Constructors Championship can be clinched next week as well. So we have a lot of exciting things going on in RPL right now.
Indeed. Well, that is the stream there. So from RPL Streams, Titan Ironwolf, joined along with my partner Ryan Archon, we say good night. Have a great one.